In this question, we're asked about a rectangular rug and its length and width, essentially its dimensions here. So let's go ahead and let's just draw an image, then we can pick our variables and label our diagram. So just drawing a rectangle here, this is going to represent our rectangular rug. It doesn't have to be perfect, we know it's going to represent a rectangle. So let's go ahead and let's read our question again. A rectangular rug is a third as long as it is wide. So however long it is, or however wide it is, the length is going to be a third of that. So let's go ahead, it doesn't matter what we call the length or the width here, because orientation we drew this was up to us. So let's call the width W, and our length is going to be a third as long as it is wide. So however wide it is, our length is going to be a third of that, so W over 3. Or 1/3 times W, either or. And remember, all of these are right triangles because this is, or right angles because this is a rectangle. We're told then that if its area is 45 square feet, then its dimensions in feet are what? So we can actually set up an equation for our area. We know our area represents 45 square feet squared. An area of a rectangle is equal to the length times its width. So we know its width is W, we know its length we can write in terms of W, and we know the area. So let's go ahead and let's plug in what we know. We have 45 is equal to, L is W over 3, and our width we're leaving as W, since we don't know what W is. Let's simplify this a tiny bit. We do have one equation with one variable, so we should be able to solve for W, and once we find W, we could find L, and those will give us our dimensions. So simplifying a tiny bit, we have 45 is equal to W squared over 3. And that's getting a little crowded, so I'm just going to copy that step right over here. So 45 equals W squared over 3. Now to isolate W, let's go ahead and multiply both sides by 3. And we'll end up with 3 times 45 should equal W squared. Now we can multiply 3 times 45 out, or we can leave it factored. We're going to have to take the square root of both sides, so let's go ahead and do that first. So W will equal plus or minus the square root of 3 times 45. Now, from our square root, we do technically get a plus or minus, but remember W represents a length, so we can actually eliminate the negative choice since length cannot be negative. So eliminating our negative answer, we have W equals positive square root of, and we do need to simplify this a little bit. 45 is actually 5 times 9. So we could break that apart into 3 times 5 times 9, trying to simplify this root. Now 9 is a perfect square, so we could actually take the square root of 9 and bring that out front as a 3, but we can't really take the square root of 3 individually or 5 because they're not nice roots on their own. So we're left with a 3 from pulling out the 9 of the square root, and underneath the square root we're left with 3 times 5, so 15. So looking at our answer choices, this is actually the width, so that means that's one of our dimensions. So this means automatically we can rule out answer choice A, B, and C. We can also actually rule out E, since we don't have any other dimensions that have a 3 square root of 15 as one of the dimensions here. So our final answer is answer choice D, and we don't actually need to find our length. Now, if we did want to confirm or verify that the other dimension would just be square root of 15, our W is 3 square root of 15, and if we plug in for L, we're going to divide that out by 3, and the 3's would end up canceling. So it does work out either way, but we don't actually need to find the length in order to answer this question. So our final answer choice is D. Our dimensions are square root of 15 by 3 times square root of 15.